right. Welcome into the half. My name is Aaron Montgomery. This guy right here, that way, Mr. Erich Campbell. Erich, it's time for the half. Are you ready, sir?
Always ready,
You
on
are
time,
always ready.
professional. People don't know, we run from the other show to this show pretty quickly, and often we are running off, grabbing a coffee, doing something else, and we sit down and run straight up, or in Aaron's case, standing desk enabled. We'll stand up and jump onto the show in the last 30 seconds, and I have most certainly done that today. So
There you go.
I am ready, but that's
I
like
do
the
that
great
for a
thing about
lot
the
of
half.
shows.
Hey, the great thing about the half is because we are flying by the seat of our pants by design, we are ready to come in at any time.
That's right. Coming in hot, baby.
Coming in
All
hot
right.
every time.
Todd, yo.
Yo.
All
What's up,
right.
Todd?
And I agree with the comment I think that Jeff made last week that I'm real sure that's Todd. It's Fat Dad Wholesale, but Todd's normally Facebook user, so I don't
This
know.
is true. This is true.
Speaking of Mr. Jeff Fuller of Fuller
Yes.
Embroidery Works, hello. You
And
got Jeff.
also a guest host alum, guest host in absentia, Jeff Fuller, and also Adam of bjjhats.com. So
There you go. There you go. Maybe
glad to have you
someday
in.
you just have Jeff and Adam do the half without either of us.
Hey, wow, we could have shows and we don't even have to be there.
I remember the first time we turned over the two regular guys' mics to you and Christine. This was back
Yeah.
before video, where it was just
Yeah.
an audio only. It was like a
Mhm.
day off. It was awesome.
I mean, we have been doing this for coming up on 10 years, right? So
yeah. I think this is episode
everybody,
71. It should
day
be in the
off is
title
well.
there.
Yeah, the two other guys have been a long time, and then we're actually, we're coming up on some numbers ourselves for the half. So yeah, for sure.
There you go. Yep, 71. Yep, that's where we're at
71.
today.
Gosh, you
Yep.
should be putting that up.
All right. So Heather, hello, and
Hello, Heather.
Barb, Eric, and Aaron.
Nice.
Greetings, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy
Absolutely.
Friday
Happy
to
Friday.
you.
Yep.
Though,
Yosta,
Yosta in from Sweden. Hi.
Adam's in.
Adam's in. All right, we'll talk about
I'm
that.
in.
That might happen. That might just happen. The half is the right place for some
Yeah,
loose
we go.
conversation.
And then Chuck, good afternoon. I'm giggling at
Yes.
Todd, the Facebook user. This better? Yeah.
No.
And we're not in any
Oh,
groups or anything like that. So it's Todd. So now we
it's
know.
Todd.
Now we always
Now we
know
know.
it's Todd.
It's
Okay,
Todd.
good. Ramona. So I need this break. Thank you both for being here. Thank you for being here,
Yeah.
Ramona. In fact, she does coffee and conversation coming up on
Yes,
Saturday. I missed the last
tomorrow.
one. I may be able to pop in, but I'm going to be at an event this Saturday too, but at 10 a.m. Central Time. Check that out over on
Yeah, check it
Ramona's
out.
page. So
Yeah, coffee and conversation.
yep.
So more embroidery talk. There's a lot going on. And Mike coming in from Canada saying, "Hey ho, let's go." Not fair. Now the Ramones will be in my head all day long. Not fair.
I'm going to send you that.
I thought it
YouTube
was
video.
bad enough with all the Stranger Things fans and Kate Bush. In my mind, I cannot stop playing that Kate Bush song on repeat, and it's days now. Maybe I should be thanking Mike because now I'm going to get the Ramones instead. Which
Yeah,
is great.
exactly.
So,
I think that might be an upgrade, though.
thanks, man.
Yep.
Huh, I
Justin
like
says, morning 50 percenters.
50 percenters. Once again, every time somebody tries to shorten up the half into a group of people, I'm not sure it worked. We'll see. Just makes me think of the motorcycle percenters, and we may or may not want to talk about that. But those of us who've done a lot of motorcycle patches know exactly what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, Jeff's in too. The fill-in squad. I like the snap thing too. Just boom.
Hashtag fill-in squad. Let's get to it.
Yep. All right. Todd explained it has to do with professional mode with Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook and the way that it handles attribution is weird.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in the business Facebook world and you link together your Instagram, watch those messages not make sense. For all of those who are managing pages with branding, holy crud. No, thank you.
Sorry, I'm giggling at stuff going forward here too, but
you're reading ahead. You can't. You got to share with the class, man.
I'm in full squirrel mode. I have not done my morning meditation yet. I was. We had a storm at 4 a.m. and I did not sleep great. So, but no excuses. Let's get back to focus here, right? I'm taking 100% responsibility.
Mindfulness.
Cindy,
we're here.
That's right. Yeah, can we just do a quick meditation? No, okay.
I have in my time, believe it or not, I have voiced a recorded guided meditation once.
I bet you did.
I have done that. So if you guys need that, we'll just embroidery related meditations. I'm ready for that. I will not talk about my favorite YouTube guided meditation. If you guys have been around long enough, you probably have seen the link. There's a very cheeky one that I may share later.
All right.
I'm not going to say because we like our tags.
I'm sure you've shared it with me, but I would like it myself. So I like that. All right. Cindy, hello. Half guys. That's us, the half guys.
We're the half guys. I'll get it. I'll take it.
Adelina, hello.
Adelina, happy to have you in.
Yep. Mike says you're welcome for the Ramones.
Hey, I'm in. Like I said, the Ramones are that absolutely goes. I'm happy for that.
Yeah. And then Ramona, actually embroidery design, machine, and business this week, marketing, just a couple of getting started ideas. Awesome. So looking forward to seeing that. Like I said, I'm going to try to pop in, but it may be from my phone from the parking lot of a craft fair event. So
yeah, it's been a busy couple of weeks. I'm kind of where you are, where my focus is not great because of all the stuff going on. But hey, being busy is better than the other options. So that's what I always say.
Yep. And then going off of the craft fair event this week, Todd says Aaron will be selling his custom-made tumbler risers from reclaimed wood for the discounted rate of $79.99. You have to be on Volley to understand that one. So
what I am going to say though is no comment on the craft table, and whether people like underprice or overprice, there's always price problems on the craft table. There's a lot to be gone about.
Yeah. So I spent my afternoon yesterday making some risers. My wife's going to be selling some drinkware at this craft fair, and we needed some risers. And so I had some scrap wood in the house, and I made it, and I spray painted them and the whole thing. I was just super proud of myself because I'm not actually the most crafty, handy person in the world. So that they turned out as good as they did. I think I was just very proud. So I had to show them off on Volley. I put the link there, osg.link/Volley. If you want to go check that out. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Yosta, let's get this one here. It's annoying when you get cranberries in your head.
Oh, zombies and cranberries, my man. That's another one. That is an earworm, by the way.
There you go.
Germans have the best word for that. A song stuck in your head. Ohrwurm. Yeah, earworm for sure, because it bores into your skull. That's a rough one.
Yeah, nice. Meep is listening in during my drive around town. Excellent. Thank you so much for listening in.
By the way, thank you for best handle Meep Merp, because we like to say that out loud as many times as possible.
That is pretty sweet. I just went with the meat part, but you're right.
I gotta go for the whole thing. Meat Merp, come on. Who doesn't want a couple of grown men to make Meat Merp sounds into their ear on the podcast every morning?
And when they talk about me grown is kind of a
well, I've grown in multiple directions, unfortunately. But hey.
I've continued to grow. It's just not the right way.
True.
But damn.
True.
All right. No, actually, I'm down 10 pounds, Eric. So that's a whole different story. So
actually, been working on that too.
Attaboy.
Currently down and on a program. So happy to say, working on it.
In fact, remind me later. I need to send you a podcast that I was listening to that I think it's really helped me to kind of change my mindset around some of this stuff that I'm doing to change my. It's not a podcast for everybody. It's called The Art of Manliness, but there's some good stuff in there. So
I'll check it out.
Yep, I'll send it over. All right. Ramona says, Aaron, I appreciate all your support and motivation. You're very welcome.
That is what we do.
That's right.
Aaron is the best at it. Yeah, zombies. Of course, Mike. Thank you. Thank you for that.
And then Eric did share in the YouTube link here to check that out.
I didn't know that I was also the RSS group official comment. Sorry about that, because I went ahead and went rogue. Right. Yes, that is the meditation I'm talking about. It has a very salty word in it, but it's very funny and sounds like a meditation. Honestly, I've heard people listen to this thing and actually find themselves feeling more calm. But it is a very funny take on the guided meditation kind of genre. So yeah, by all means, check it out if you are okay with a little bit of adult language. Don't play it in front of your kids unless you want them to know certain words. I'm just letting you know that. My humor includes those words. Yours may not.
All right. I like it.
Just to let you know.
Must be another professional mode user over there on Facebook. We've got good morning from MAS in Santa Fe. That's Marianne, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, Marianne Seto, I believe. Yep. But yeah, she's she obviously got on the Facebook user train, unfortunately, as well.
All right. Todd says, I just got the call from my tomahawk steaks, and it's ready for pickup. So can't wait for Sunday for Father's Day. Some tomahawk steaks. That sounds great. All right. Cindy says, "Oh, great. You guys are doing great. I'm gaining."
I'll say this. I've got more to lose than you've ever gained, so don't feel bad. Like,
Yeah.
I've got a long, long trip ahead of me.
Yeah, I still got a long ways to go myself. So, oh, Mike, this is good. Meat
Merp.
Merp equals Beaker and Dr. Bunsen, honeydew in my head.
Yeah, I won't reveal the wild bald head under under the cap, but that works. That works. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
So, all right, we are 10 minutes into our 30-minute show.
Yeah. So,
but
hey, speaking of Cindy there, do you recall what her question was over on the Two Regular Guys by chance?
It was kind of a joke. She's like, I've got 4 heads and 10 caps to do, and I only have 3 cones of the thread that I need. What do I do about that? And so the question was more, it was a little bit jokey, but maybe you could say it's serious. Here's the one truth about this that you can do. There are people out there who get cone breakers, which is a winder that you can take one spool of thread and wind it out onto multiple smaller cones. I honestly, in my time doing embroidery, what I've done is passed on the cost. And if I don't have enough of a specialty color, or it's a color I don't stock, I have a fee built in where I pass that cost on to somebody who's desperately wanting a specialty color. And part of that fee is to thread up one of my machines. Usually it was a 12 head machine for the job. So I'm like, part of this, if you want a very specialty color or a very specialty kind of thread, the chances are I'm going to price in one rack up of the cones you need. And then I keep them on file. I keep them in our department ready for your next job. Yeah. But part of your job will be for specialty colors that there is a small fee. And let me tell you what, in New Mexico, we had like 15 colors of turquoise. It is a Southwest kind of a thing that you have that many colors of turquoise. No other shop had them, and a lot of those were purchased on that rack. Now, don't get me wrong. Did I use colors off of that rack for other folks? Yes, but then when we're replacing the stock, that was our cost. I'm not charging our original customer for that again. But that initial run up, we would do that. Now, I do know, however, I know folks use cone breakers and swear by them. I'm not one of them. The time never seemed to be worth the cost, and even sometimes it means I would just buy extra cones if I needed to. But yeah, I'd say for Cindy, yes, she says your question was a joke. I know for sure, I got it. Question was a joke, but I was trying to make it into a teachable moment, as I often do.
Yeah,
most of the time, but that just happens. Hey, you thread up 3, and it sucks to have one head down for the run. But at the same time, yeah, we some people really do swear on the cone breakers, but I just have not been the kind of person who's constantly spinning up. I've not had good luck spinning that off or winding my own bobbins. Most of that stuff I've bought and kept on going, but that's larger scale commercial production. If I were doing boutique stuff, and in fact, when I have done single piece boutique stuff, I will wind custom color bobbins. I will wind up thread, but usually that's because I'm going to be charging a fair amount for what I'm doing as this boutique specialty work.
Yeah. So interesting. Well, I did not, during the Two Regular Guys, I did not give the question a full read because we were in the middle of all sorts of craziness at that point.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I was emailing in the background. I was sending private messages over here. I was text messaging and trying to host a show.
Totally.
Thank God for Eric keeping things going and
Terry by the skin of my teeth. By the way, I will bring this up though, Cindy. Don't worry, we're not picking on you for your question. I just decided to talk about cone breakers. The spools were ascending correctly. I just kept job as whatever colors I want. It's not a problem. No, we know it's not a problem. I'm the kind of guy who can't even let a joke not be a chance to talk shop. And Mike said this: cone splitting is life on a 12 head. And Mike's one of the people who I know who does supply stuff. He's got a slitter for making his own cuts of stabilizer too, which is incredible. That's a big deal. But cone splitting is life on 12 head. White and black, I buy 12 full 10,000 meter cones and split for all the others. For standard colors, I got no problem bringing them in. Yeah, no, and I'll give you that for sure. That you can get to efficiencies if you know how to do it. That makes sense for you. Really depends on model and shop for sure. And Mike says agreed on specialty or custom stuff for sure. Standard color stuff, I bring it in if I didn't already have it. Yeah. If it's something that's close to the color card or it's something that we are going to use, we bring it in. But we've had, and here's the big one, really specialty colors or something we have a close color and they just swear they must have a certain variation or shade, even though we've got something that's very close. That's something that's going to get you. Fire retardant. FR thread, FR stabilizer, which by the way, there's a big one for me. If you're going to use fire resistant, fire retardant threads, you need to use the stabilizer too, because if you just got polyester stabilizer behind it, you have a flaw. So those used to get specialty charges. And then occasionally there are some decorative stuff that we just didn't really stock. And so I would, in the early days of using like matte, frosted matte polys and stuff like that, where they just aren't standard, and I'm not going to use them for a lot of jobs, I'm probably going to figure in some costs on that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
and the bobbin too, by the way, Justin. Yes, and the fire resistant bobbin. If it is an accident, here's the deal: racing garments. If you do race, fire, or linemen, people who are on electric, any path for that fire to get into the person inside is bad, and your embroidery is that path, and so is the rest of it. So is the bobbin, so is the stabilizer. You don't want any of that melting to a human. So please use all of the FR stuff together.
Yeah, I love it. So let's get back into some other comments that we had before.
For sure.
Excellent stuff. And Eric, you are amazing at that, right? It was a joke. We get an opportunity to still be able to share and learn from each other. I love that.
I'll still make it to 5 minutes.
So, but Cindy talking about life is short. Let's just embrace our size. Ramona says, I'm at the place of my life that I am what I am, what I am. So
yeah, for sure.
Understood. And for me, and I know Eric, you and I are probably in a similar place. It's just, want to be able to feel healthier and move more. Totally. Right. So
that's
the weight's part of it, but I'm not so concerned about the weight. One of my big goals is actually just to be more flexible. I want to be able to touch my toes.
Yeah. I don't want to be tired when I go on a normal walk. That's true. Or at the trade shows, I'd like to not feel like I'm dead. When I'm done at the end of the day on the trade shows.
And then Lyndon checking in from North Carolina. Thanks for being in here, Lyndon. And it got here late. We'll watch the rerun. We love it. We love everybody that does hashtag replay. But at the same time, happy to hear just a whole lot at 10 minutes in.
Just saying hi and getting warmed up.
Getting warmed up. But we got it. Yes, I busted for all of the background stuff that I was doing. I think everybody could pretty much tell because I'm like,
it's hard not to. But by the way, down in the corner where you guys can't see me, everybody else could see me. I was going insane all in the background too, trying to get everything to work. So we were both definitely in squirrel mode. But sometimes that's the thing. If you have squirrel mode, don't get me wrong, maybe you got a little deficit in your attention. Let's talk about that. It does mean when things are going crazy, we have a tendency to stay on it and get things done when it's really crazy and hectic. It does mean when it's not. When it's not, sometimes
so we got to use our squirrel mode to our advantage. Use it for a strength and not worry about it being. And then
use those powers for
be conscious about when you need to watch out for it. Right, like right here, right now. I need to be just in the moment. All right. So, Cindy says I should check into the cone splitter. I think Eric has talked about it before.
And Mike is one of the people who's kind of sold me on it to a degree because when you're doing large bulk stuff, it makes more sense.
Yeah. And then Mike says, the fire resistant thread is another matter for sure. I'm not splitting a mini cone. Mr. Customer is buying a full set.
Yes. And like I said, we carried a pretty decent amount of them because we did a lot of power companies. And like I said, racewear, that's the one that gets me the worst is someone who will tell me, oh no, the race suit is for me taking pictures. It's just for a photo op. And I'm like, you brought me an expensive suit, an expensive tracksuit. No, it's not. I'm not just going to embroider it with normal stuff. I know it's a bunch of logos and it costs a lot, but I don't want you coming back when you're charred. Like you need to be safe, man. So that is one. I sometimes talk about that. Jobs I've turned down, outright super gross, hateful stuff. Yes, and we talk about that. We've had a whole show about that once. But also, if someone has something that is absolutely bad for their safety, I will probably turn that down if they're just demanding it. I'll be like, nah, I'm not happy doing a race suit with regular polyester. I'm not. My dad raised outlaws and was in that realm when I was a really little kid, and you can get real hurt real bad. So I would like to make sure everybody's safe instead.
Yeah, I like that for sure. All right. Cindy says, I guess we need to I guess we need Kylene to get a program up for trade show workouts. Absolutely. In fact, they were talking at DAX about doing something where it was a yoga session. You've got people like Amy and oh my gosh, why did I just blank? Katie Wubin.
Yeah,
sorry, Katie. Sure. Gosh, over there and so. If Eric, if I could just give Kylene a quick pitch here, if you don't mind. If you guys, one thing that Kylene's been doing is she is a certified yoga instructor. And I know for a lot of people, they go, yoga, oh, that's not for me. I'm not bendy. I don't look like a yoga person. And honestly, that held Kylene back for a long time. And she finally said, you know what, I'm going to do this because, she's not the stereotypical yoga person either. And what she's really found her niche in is kind of doing that She calls it gentle. I call it, yoga for fat old guys. Foga.
Fat old guy yoga. There
so
you go.
if you, and I don't know if I've got the banner in here, but I'll just say it because we don't need to get too crazy with it here. But if you just go Rise Shine yoga. There you go. Thank you, Eric. Look at you go. WeHeart.biz products, Rise and Shine Yoga. We've got a direct link that's riseshine.yoga too.
Oh, okay.
You're totally, I really appreciate that's perfect.
This will get you there.
This will get you there.
Not as nice, but it'll get you there.
Yeah. So I just think it's a really cool opportunity. The people that have been able to do it, it's completely gentle. So you can go as far as you're prepared to, or as little. And that's what kind of scared me about it at first too. When she started getting into it, I'm like, my body doesn't move like that. Okay, well, let's move it to where you can in a specific way. And I'll tell you, I've been working on this. I need to be able to touch my toes thing. That for whatever reason that got in my head that I needed to do that. And by doing some of this, she even does a chair yoga session for folks that it's not. They're not quite there yet, right? They just they've got whatever the situation may be, and the feedback that she's been getting from that friend of ours, Tanya Droscher, she's been doing that chair yoga with Kylene, and she's always telling people about it, and we so appreciate that. But anyhow, check it out, riseshine.yoga and or the WeHeart.biz products, Rise and Shine Yoga, and you can just buy packs. You can buy one class at a time. Reach out to her or reach out to me. You want to just come check it out? We'll take care of it. It's virtual in your own home. You don't need anything. It's comfortable. It's on Zoom. It's easy. So thank you, Eric, for giving me a quick second on that.
Well, hey, I mean, it's good. Now, like I said, despite the fact that I'm not a guy who's really into that either, I've done some myself, believe it or not, because my wife did an entire semester of yoga at the college level, weirdly enough. And that was something she really enjoyed and did that setup. And she's a runner, so she's very healthy. I am not, obviously, but at the same time, yeah, she did that yoga and said, no, you just do the poses to the level that you can, and eventually you get further. Everybody thinks you have to twist yourself into a pretzel. That's not necessarily the case. So even someone like me has, believe it or not, done some yoga. It's surprising you can do that. So still cool.
Yeah, me too. So all right. Well, Cindy says we all want to look refreshed as we drag around the show.
Right.
Love it. Barbecue embroidery, cook over an open flame. Okay.
Here's what I'll say about that. This is my one mention of barbecue embroidery that makes me kind of giggle. If you are doing 3D foam hats and you're using the heat gun, number one, adjustable heat guns are your friend, because yes, you absolutely can melt stuff with a heat gun. Number two, all you people who have screen printing dryers, don't do it. It's too tall. Don't put the big structured hat through your screen printing dryer and think it's going to shrink that foam, because it will shrink the foam right before it ignites. I had one of our people put a pallet of hats, put a row of hats through a gas dryer and caught one on fire.
Oh my gosh.
Be careful with this stuff, with your own flame polishing, as we call it in the industry.
All right.
Yep, check it out.
All right. Yes, definitely check that out. Ramona says, so much for my 30-minute break. My contractor just got here with my lumber order, building a shed in the backyard, thinking about moving the husband out there.
I know there's somebody out there who's going to sound insulted, and I'm like, if I could move into the right shed. I don't know. I think I'd be cool with that. Yeah. The right shed's okay.
All right. Gina says dashboard in Oklahoma 100-degree day. Yeah.
We've been more than 100 in Albuquerque, so yeah, we're there. Yeah, we're with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Eric, we got a couple more minutes left. If there's any questions in there from you guys tuned in, we appreciate that. Let's see here. Let me ask you this question, Eric.
Okay.
What is? You talk to a lot of embroiderers, obviously, every Friday during the Take Up. In fact, if you have not checked out the Take Up, that is at what time and where, Eric?
It is 2:30. You can get it from erichcampbell.com. If you go up to the Take Up tab at the top, that's where the playlist is. And my full YouTube channel is there too, which also has the Have. If you're listening on Facebook, by the way, I found this out earlier. I was posting Facebook links and people were saying, oh, I'm not going to watch it because I don't like to do that. I like to do YouTube on my TV. We're on Facebook too. We're everywhere. Check us out where we are. But yeah, that's YouTube as well. Just go to erichcampbell.com. You'll find it all under the Take Up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, check that out. So you talk to these folks a lot, right? And
daily, yes.
I see different stuff, right? I'm what I like to refer to as embroidery adjacent.
Right.
I know people, right? And the guy that's standing next to me here is the person I know. So what's the common theme? What's the common question that is most prevalent that you're seeing right now today? And I know you typically talk about these things on the half, and so maybe that's what you're talking about today. But yeah, just give us that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that's some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today, because today's episode of the Take Up is about assumptions people make about embroidery and decorating in business, but really in the embroidery field, that are wrong and that kind of hold them back. And I'm going to say one of the ones I'm going to talk about in detail today is that they treat embroidery like other decoration methods, and they think that's how it's going to work almost technically.
No.
And I'm going to talk about specific things coming down today when I'm like 2 hours of me jabbering on about embroidery. And I think this is with all different decoration methods. I think you can also agree that we have this problem with, let's say, like screen printing and sublimation, or even DTG and sublimation, where they think file in, process, send to machine is kind of what we have to do with everything. Or people coming in from outside of the industry treat it like a desktop paper printer. They think that's what all this equipment's going to be like when there's materials concerns. And if I would think of a header that where a lot of the trouble comes in, it's invariably like, I'm going to have a process that's automated, that's going to get me from image to end result, where I don't really think about the medium.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the top questions I see are almost always about problems with the medium, or the fact that not all fabrics are the same. And that's the same for printing. I mean, sublimation, it's always the guy with the black cotton t-shirt.
Yeah.
When you're talking about sublimation. And I think the same thing with, you're talking about screen printing versus sublimation versus DTG, that there's just differences in the process.
Yeah.
Pre-treating is not a thing for screen print.
Yeah.
But it is for DTG. Invariably, there are little pieces of the process, despite the fact that there are areas where we all synergize, where it's like, we all know what it's like to convert down a file or deal with a low bitmap, a low DPI bitmapped file. We have all these things that we do that are similar, but in between them, all the connective tissue of it and the final, the final execution is very different.
Yeah.
And people don't take that into account.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where a lot of it stems from. There's much more than that, but if I would boil down one category of things that goes wrong, it's got to be that. That people just don't really take into account the medium itself. And what that's going to look like.
Totally. I think Terry talked a little bit about that over on Two Rare Guys, where he was talking about the fact that, there is that learning curve, right? To be an expert screen printer, there's probably a 3-year learning curve, right? Or, and I can see that in embroidery, because there is so much. And this is not to fault the new people coming in, or people that are learning and growing. This is to say, this is why it's so important to have that balance between, okay, I got to try new things. I got to stick with what I'm good at. I got to, align myself with experts like Erich. And because I can see that for sure. To me, I would go, okay, I need to embroider something. I've got thread, I've got a machine. Maybe figuring out some of the other things that go along with it, the backing and stuff like that. That's where I always get really confused. But to think about the actual fabric and how that's going to change the look, that wouldn't be something that would come to my mind as a newbie, right? So that's a great share, Erich.
And I think even same kind of thing. Trusting what's on the screen, that's the other big part of it.
Yeah.
Believing that what's on the screen is going to come out of the machine.
Yeah.
And that's any of the digital processes.
Yeah.
Well, nothing matters but the final outcome, and it's not necessarily spelled out on the screen.
For sure. And if you brought up sublimation, so this is on you. But the reality is, with sublimation, the truth about sublimation is what you see on your screen is definitely never going to be what you get on the final good, because the white is really what you're seeing. You're seeing white that's been tinted. So what that, everybody thinks white is white. That's not true. There's all different levels of white, and all of your blanks, right? Your white that you're seeing off of a fabric versus the white that you're seeing off of a glossy, mug or something like that, they're all different, and mugs can be different whites from one to the next. So there's another reason to like really stick to a niche and do something that you're really good at, because you'll get that nailed in. But if you're just trying to do everything all the time and yet you're going to guarantee color matching, yeah, big problem. So
oh man, I thought you were going to solve the color matching problem for us.
We leave you with big problems, but we hope we left you with big answers too.
Till next time, folks.
Yep. You show up at the take up today, everybody.
Thanks.